Local reaction as China increases tariffs on Canadian canola. The province defends its plan in court to keep coal plants running. Regina police shoot a dog that attacked one of its own canine units.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Devastating news for Saskatchewan's ag industry as China slaps further tariffs on Canadian canola. As Angela Stewart tells us, Premier Scott Moe is calling for Ottawa to take action.
China's latest tariff move is sending shockwaves through Canada's canola industry, especially here in Saskatchewan.
That will have a devastating impact on the price points for Saskatchewan's canola industry, and I would say ultimately Saskatchewan's ag producers.
On Thursday, China will be increasing the provisional duty rate to 78.5%. It's the latest in a year-long trade dispute that began with the federal government's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. The Premier says the timing couldn't be worse for farmers.
As they are hard at work starting their harvest procedures and getting their harvest underway.
He is now pleading federal officials to take action and is expecting to speak with Prime Minister Mark Carney in the next 24 hours. The Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan says this will take Canada completely out of the global canola market, hitting producers across the province hard.
As producers, we feel like we're being caught in a tariff war that we had obviously didn't want. Canola is a prime target for tariffs from the Chinese perspective because they know that it's a huge value crop in Canada, particularly in Western Canada.
The Saskatchewan NDP is now calling on the provincial government to launch a trade mission to China to help protect local producers.
We need to be there making the case that there is a path out of this, but that this is going to cause a lot of concerns, certainly for producers here. But we're going to see increased costs for people in China as well.
The new tariffs are temporary and will be finalized after a probe into anti-dumping officially wraps up next month. Angela Stewart, CTV News, Regina.
Court proceedings against the Saskatchewan government's plan to extend coal-fired power began today in Saskatoon. CTV's Stacey Hine has those details.
A group of citizens and environmental activists stand outside Saskatoon's Court of King's Bench. They're hoping to stop the provincial government's plan to extend the use of coal-fired power.
We're ignoring the realities of climate change. We're ignoring the fact that coal is the #1 reason why climate change is occurring.
In June, Minister Jeremy Harrison sent a memo to Sask Power employees, stating that coal plants would continue operating beyond their expected lifespan until nuclear power can be generated. Federal regulations introduced in 2016 require all coal-fired plants to shut down after 50 years of use or by 2030. Now, the Saskatchewan Environmental Society and Citizens for Justice are asking for a judicial review, a process where courts assess whether a government decision is lawful and fair. At Tuesday's hearing, the group's lawyer also requested an interim stay, a pause on the province's plan to restart the coal plant unit Boundary Dam 4 until the court completes its review. The government's lawyer argued the application is faulty because it's based on a letter to employees and not an administrative decision.
It's clear to me that the government has made the decision. They have directed Sask Power to start refurbishing coal, and we think the court should look at that decision and determine was it reasonable and was it lawful.
Premier Scott Moe says moving away from coal by 2030 is not practical.
If we were forced to switch to natural gas and then to drag out the conversion to nuclear that we are planning in this province, there would actually be a larger emissions profile.
The judge has reserved her decision on whether this is an issue the courts should consider. She said she'll give a written decision outlining the next steps. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Meanwhile, researchers from the University of Regina are studying mercury emissions that are caused by wetlands drainage. Mercury from the atmosphere is captured by water and stored. The study is looking into whether the pollutant is released back into the atmosphere when wetlands are drained for crop production. The UVR research is the first of its kind on the prairies.
What we're really really interested in is if you drain a wetland, does all of that methylmercury that has basically been produced in the wetland react and then be re-emitted into the atmosphere, where it would become part of that global pool and therefore then fall on other places and potentially impact the mercury, the amount of methylmercury in systems that do have fish.
Frequent consumption of fish containing mercury is a recognized health hazard. Sask Energy is warning the public that they will be conducting controlled natural gas flaring at a site just south of the Creek subdivision from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesday and 8 to 9 p.m. on Friday. Now, controlled flares emit a 40-foot flame that is rather noticeable, similar to what you see here, which happened, by the way, on Monday just outside the city. Flaring is necessary to perform maintenance work on a natural gas line system. Natural gas service in the area will not be impacted. Regina police are investigating after a dog was fatally shot by officers during an incident Monday evening. Police were called to the 300 block of Smith Street around 5:40 p.m. The caller saying two men were inside a home with guns, not allowing anyone to leave. Upon arrival, officers started setting up a perimeter, and they say while they were doing so, a dog came out of the home and began to attack a canine dog. The dog was then shot and killed by the officer. The canine police dog suffered minor injuries. The incident remains under investigation. UR Pride says even with the decision allowing their legal challenge against Saskatchewan's pronoun law to proceed, their work is not done. In a statement today, the organization said it's a win for both the organization and LGBTQ2S+ rights in the province and across Canada by clarifying the use of the notwithstanding clause moving forward. The group added the legal implications of the decision could be far-reaching, but it does little to help students today, so they renewed their call for the government to repeal the law, which remains in effect heading into a new school year. The province asserts that parents should maintain rights in their child's education, and that includes the right to know if their children are going by a different name or pronouns at school. A Saskatchewan family is speaking out and calling for change in the healthcare system after cultural traditions were ignored without consent. Keenan Sorkon explains.
The family of Karina Morin say the 54-year-old Indigenous woman's rights were violated when her hair was cut without consent while she was medically incapacitated at Royal University Hospital in June. And now they want to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else.
And when my mom woke up and I showed her how she looked, she said she was ugly.
It traumatized the late Corina in a very bad way.
Morin died in hospice care last month. Her family says she was deeply affected by having her hair cut, which was described on Tuesday as holding a profound cultural significance to First Nations people.
We don't want that to happen to anybody else. Family or not, nobody deserves that.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority implemented a new Indigenous haircutting policy at the beginning of the month. The policy states staff must receive consent from the patient or a family member. Cutting a patient's hair is only required for medically necessary or life-saving procedures such as brain or head surgeries or head traumas. Haircutting is not required for the treatment of lice.
When children have that problem, lice issue, they get sent home to get treated. They don't cut their hair.
While the policy is a positive step, LaFond wants a formal apology and wishes she was part of the conversation to create it.
Our office, was disrespected, and I'll just say it.
The SHA says it apologized to Morin after her hair was cut and says more than 90% of physicians and staff have completed new mandatory cultural responsiveness training. With nearly 450 complaints filed since her office was created less than 2 years ago, LaFond says the work continues to prevent more stories like this.
To understand the traumas that have occurred and still continue to occur.
Keenan Sorkon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Minister of Agriculture Daryl Harrison and MLA Chris Beaudry officially kicked off the 2025 harvest season today. Begins with fall rye and barley, continues with wheat and canola, and is expected to go into the fall months. Ag Minister Harrison stressed that harvest can be a tumultuous period for farmers and that mental health should be prioritized. He also asked for the public cooperation during the busy harvest months.
Times. We need motorists to have some patience, be aware of that slow-moving equipment, and just please use patience. You know, it might take an extra couple of minutes to get to your destination, but it's more important that you get there safely than quickly.
So maybe next time you see a combine, just maybe smile and tip your hat to a driver, as it's going to be a busy time this time of year for the farmers. And with harvest here, farmers are going to be very much looking at how the temperatures and the weather is looking. So, Sabine, what can we expect tonight and tomorrow?
Well, heading into tomorrow, good news for many parts, including southern Saskatchewan. Above seasonal temperatures and sunshine is returning. However, we can still expect some rain overnight, which could result in some wet ground as we head into tomorrow as well. So if we take a look at our watches and warnings right now on the radar satellite, most of the activity that is coming through is in central Saskatchewan. We are now seeing a little bit of those watches and warnings move further down into just west of the Saskatoon area. And as I was checking last hour, we do still have a tornado warning issued for the further up north in the Buffalo Narrows area. So something we'll keep an eye on for that. But as you can see on our radar satellite, haven't seen much in terms of active weather or precipitation coming through southern Saskatchewan. Temperatures still within that seasonal range. And heading into tomorrow, like I said, we're going to see those temperatures bump up to above seasonal. Today we warmed up to 25 degrees, average is about 26. But we will, like I said, see more rain on the way, and I'll have all those details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. In the early morning hours, several airports across Canada experienced delays from WestJet, citing network-wide technical issues. Taking place at Regina and Saskatoon airports, the airline says that they experienced a temporary system outage that affected the transition from aircraft to maintenance personnel for scheduled operation. The delays were also situated at the Ottawa International Airport, Toronto Pearson, Montreal Trudeau, and Calgary. Saskatchewan is flexing its employment muscles with recent Stat Canada numbers showing that our province leading the way when it comes to getting people into jobs. As Carla Shinkaruk tells us, the province is pointing to our diverse economy and new workforce potential as the reasons why.
The rules have changed a little bit.
Hanif Amani has been helping people find jobs for 10 years, so the latest labor force numbers showing Saskatchewan leads the way with getting people into jobs is reassuring.
Typically, we mimic Alberta, and this is kind of the first time where we've actually diverged a little bit from Alberta. Alberta's actually lost some jobs, and the unemployment rate went up.
The Statistics Canada July report shows that Saskatchewan continues to see record growth with over 22,000 full-time jobs added year over year in July. There are unique factors for that.
Unlike other provinces, and I'll use Alberta again as an example, they've had a very difficult time placing a lot of their newcomers. That has contributed to a lot of the unemployment rate. We've been actually pretty good at doing that here.
Hamani also says more Indigenous people are being hired in mining sectors up north. Jason Abig with the Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce says Saskatchewan grit and pursuit of growth from those who are hiring has been key.
Our business community remains very bullish on our economy. They continue to feel strongly that there are reasons to be optimistic.
None of this is surprising to Abig, who also credits our diverse economy with potash, oil, and agriculture.
Which means our risk is spread out across a number of sectors and industries. We're not wholly dependent on one or two.
It's great news for job seekers. In our two largest cities, July employment numbers this year compared to last year show Saskatoon's employment was up 4,300. That's an increase of 2.1%, while Regina's employment was up 5,600 or 3.8%. Big projects helping to get those numbers up.
So the construction industry in general and a lot of these capital investments are driving additional workforce and work needs.
Our experts say many of the jobs being filled are full-time and entry-level or just above, which is positive for the future. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Moose Jaw City Council is moving ahead with a bylaw change to make supportive housing projects discretionary use. It stems from a notice put forward by Councillor Patrick Boyle. The proposed amendment would give council expanded discretion for applications regarding supportive housing initiatives, care homes, and emergency shelters in high-density areas, the city's core and commercial districts. City administration warns that the change could make the city vulnerable for future litigation and charter challenges.
We're talking about public engagement consultation in your neighborhood, where you live, where you walk the streets, and what you do. And should there be some discretion applied to it?
Supportive housing has something to do with people. So when we talk about people zoning, this is, if this passes, this is what Moose Jaw is going to start doing, is we are going to be deciding as a council what's appropriate for certain neighborhoods.
City administration is expected to bring their revised bylaw back to council for final approval in September. A woman from Pine House was evacuating from the wildfires when she put her life on the line to help 5 small animals. On July 29th, the woman was evacuating with her 3 children when she noticed 5 animals surrounded by flames. Now, despite the car being filled with her family's belongings and children, she jumped into action to save 3 kittens and 2 puppies. She spent the next 4 days living out of her car with her children and the animals that she saved until she could safely deliver them to the Regina Humane Society.
We did have a person who came across 3 kittens and 2 puppies in the Pine House Lake area, and indication from her was that they were surrounded by flame, and she picked them up and lived with them in their car with her children for a couple of days, and eventually they made their way down here.
The Regina Humane Society has found new homes for the 2 dogs and will have the 3 cats up for adoption in the next 2 weeks.
Greetings, everyone. For generations, medicines and herbs have been a key component to the health and well-being of Indigenous communities across North America. In North Central Regina, the Mama Wayathatin Center is helping break down barriers to make these medicines more accessible in the city. CTV's Brittany Poitras brings us the story.
We're all coming together as a community, just like the plants.
Mandy Ellis is teaching the value of growth through medicinal plants. Among the many plants growing in the Mama Wayathatin garden is the traditional Indigenous medicine called sage.
Sage is a great tea and just a great healer. You can use the sage fresh or dry, and you can even use it as a rinse for your mouth, a toothpaste, for your hair, your skin. That's a very special plant for us to help us cleanse and bring that focus and stay with our prayers and our ceremony in that way.
The garden is somewhere where both plants and people thrive, with many coming by to relax in the beauty of nature.
And also one of our goals is just beautifying the neighborhood, providing a space where folks can hang out outside. As you can see, there's a ton of people out here on a beautiful Saskatchewan summer day, enjoying the fresh air and just enjoying the beauty and fun of the garden. So that's a big goal of ours as well.
Along with medicinal plants, the garden is also a platform for people to learn how to grow their own produce.
The community gardens provide a lot of different benefits to the community. So number one, of course, is providing greater access to food. Our motto is help yourself.
It's a community benefit that people of all ages make use of by digging, weeding, and harvesting here.
Really, any experience levels, any ages. We have folks, babies all the way up to people in their 90s come out and help us, from anywhere in the city, or if you're from out of town, if you've ever just wanted to come check out a garden, see if you have a green thumb.
Work bees are held every second Wednesday from 4:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. The Work Bee program will be in the garden for the rest of the growing season.
They're a nation within themselves, and we're sharing the space with them, and it's good medicine.
I'm Brittany Poitras for Indigenous Circle.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Still ahead, more from Ottawa on the increase of Chinese tariffs on Canadian canola. And Canadian liquid natural gas is getting interest from countries around the world. Well, back to our top story. China escalating its trade dispute with Canada, and canola farmers are caught in the middle again. China announcing massive anti-dumping duties, which will take effect on Thursday. CTV's Judy Trin reports on the latest retaliatory measures and its impact on farmers.
My farm is roughly half canola.
So today is very devastating news, obviously, to me.
Andre Harp is one of 40,000 canola farmers in Canada who woke up to the news that China was imposing a 75.8% duty on the oilseed. Canola prices dropped $1 a bushel after the anti-dumping tariff was announced. More bad news for an industry contending with drought just weeks away from harvest.
Not only are we facing a yield loss, but at the same time, obviously now we're facing an income loss for whatever we do grow. So it's, right now this could be a double whammy.
In 2024, Canada exported $5 billion of canola to China. To justify its actions, China said that after conducting an investigation, it found that Canada was providing its farmers with unfair subsidies. This escalation has its roots in the former Liberal government's decision to impose tariffs on electric vehicles.
We will be introducing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles.
The previous government in Ottawa had done this to align its policy on China with that of Washington, but we didn't get any brownie points.
The canola industry generates more than $40 billion annually and employs 200,000 people. Saskatchewan's premier says that's bigger than the steel, aluminum, and auto industry combined.
Canola producers hit with these Chinese tariffs, I would say that they deserve the same attention by our federal government and our prime minister as we're seeing in other industries.
To improve the Canada-China trading relationship, Premier Mo says that the prime minister needs to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping as soon as possible. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Wildfires continue to burn across the country. Here in Saskatchewan, there are 85 active fires. 15 are out of control, while in Newfoundland, Labrador, evacuation alerts are expanding for a wildfire that's burning in Paddy's Pond. Now, that's just outside of St. John's, and they're also expanding the state of emergency to include parts of the Newfoundland capital, as well as Paradise and Conception Bay South. Meanwhile, the Kingston fire that's further north along Conception Bay grew again overnight and now covers nearly 64 square kilometers. There's more friction in the negotiations between Air Canada and its employees today after the union representing around 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants declined a proposal from the airline to enter a binding arbitration process. The development means CUPE could declare its plans for a work stoppage anytime after midnight on Wednesday. The two sides have been negotiating for more than 8 months, and the earliest that flight attendants could walk off the job is this Saturday at the strike of midnight Eastern Time. Last week, flight attendants voted more than 99% in favor of giving their union a strike mandate. The union says its main sticking points are low wages and unpaid labor. Canadians will start seeing new nation-building projects approved early this fall, according to Energy Minister Tim Hodgson. In an interview with CTV's Vassie Kapelos on her iHeartRadio show, the minister shed new light on the kinds of natural resource projects that could soon be greenlit. CTV's Rachel Aiello has the details.
I know there are buyers.
Canada's energy minister made it clear today that with multiple projects in the works and a global demand for cleaner energy, there's a market for Canadian liquefied natural gas that may help make the case for facilities to be fast-tracked through the new national projects process.
What I can tell you from the conversations that the Prime Minister has been having, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has been having, the Minister of International Trade has been having, the conversations I've been having, our allies are very interested in Canadian LNG.
A comment the natural resources sector welcomed.
More customers, more shipments, more LNG export facilities means more jobs for Canadians.
The minister said that as soon as the private sector, provincial governments, and Indigenous groups put forward projects, the federal government will start deciding which ones are in the national interest.
I would expect you would see a rolling set of announcements over the fall as different projects mature and meet the criteria.
While stating the government remains committed to its climate objectives, the minister wouldn't rule out easing federal emissions targets to move these projects forward.
So the LNG emissions math is inescapable. So these projects in Canada result in significant increase in emissions. Like one project is equal to about 1 million cars.
Minister Hodgson said that he's focused on results and not how we get there, indicating the powers Cabinet now has through Bill C-5 allows him to deal with any issues that arise. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada has joined several other countries in signing a joint statement calling on Israel to allow unrestricted aid into the Gaza Strip. The foreign ministers of 24 nations say the suffering in the territory has reached unimaginable levels. They warn that famine is unfolding before our eyes and urgent action is needed now to halt and reverse starvation. They insist that all crossings and routes must be used to allow food, shelter, fuel, water, and medicine into the enclave. Israel is denied responsibility for hunger spreading in Gaza, accusing Hamas of stealing aid shipments. Coming up, Taylor Swift is set to announce new music on her boyfriend's podcast.
Says they're concerned in the morning what they're saying about the province's debt load and why it impacts you.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live. Weekdays 6 to 9.
Like, that's my question. Do viewers see that? I just need someone to let me know at home if you saw Lee running across the screen. All right, let's take a look at what we've got coming up for our forecast. It's been a beautiful day in Regina, currently sitting at 25 degrees. That is the warmest we got today. Winds just around 15 kilometers an hour. Now, I mentioned earlier we do have some watches and warnings, a tornado warning still in effect for the Buffalo Narrows area. Then we do have closer getting into southern Saskatchewan, we have some severe thunderstorm warnings, and the watches even a little further into southern Saskatchewan, primarily around the Kindersley, Etonia area is where we're seeing those severe thunderstorm watches issued right now. High wind gusts, heavy rainfall, and also hail expected if these thunderstorms do develop and come through that area. So as of right now, something to keep in mind. I don't expect to see any further of those warnings or watches coming further into southern Saskatchewan, and you'll see why in a second when we take a look at this tracker. So again, we have most of this. This is also that storm activity that we're seeing. That's going to continue to break up as we head further into the overnight. And into tomorrow morning, we could expect to see that rain, larger portion of that rain around the Regina Wynyard area. But by the time the morning clears, heading into the Parkland, we'll see much of that system break up. But further north, we see more of that storm activity coming through. It's not until tomorrow night that there is a very ungood looking system coming through the area. Saskatoon could get the brunt of this system coming through. A lot of storm cells, very strong storms coming through the Wynyard area. Regina looks like it'll be a near miss. Could see a little bit of that storm activity coming through the Parkland into the Yorkton area very early Thursday morning. So something again to keep in mind. We could see some watches and warnings go into effect because of that system late tomorrow afternoon coming through the Parkland. And then we will be left with mostly scattered showers and then clear conditions for Thursday afternoon into Friday morning, when we could expect to see more cloud cover rolling through and then just pockets of precipitation coming through as well, but not some large system. As you can see on that radar, on our rainfall total, it's mostly the north that's going to get a lot of rain, even into central Saskatchewan, Kindersley, Saskatoon, Yorkton, seeing close to about 20 millimeters of rain, close to 30 for Prince Albert, close to 50 for Buffalo Narrows. So a lot of rain expected more into the northern part of the province, and you can see Regina between now and to Friday afternoon could see about 2 millimeters of rain. So not a whole lot expected for southern Saskatchewan, but we will still see some of that precipitation coming through tomorrow. For the north, cooler temperatures for daytime highs, 18 for La Ronge, 16 for La Loche, and then as we get into more into central southern Saskatchewan, those temperatures start getting back into seasonal, if not warmer, back into the 30s for the southwest. The southeast also expecting to get close to 30, if not right into the 30s for Assiniboia. And for us, Regina expecting to warm up to 29 degrees, strong winds up to about 55, 60 kilometers an hour. And tonight, seasonal lows 12 degrees and a little bit of cloud cover. I'll talk about that in just a second. But here's a quick look at our 7-day forecast. So we're back into that seasonal range, a little cooler for Thursday, Friday in the low 20s. But tomorrow again, mix of sun and cloud, 29 degrees, sunny on Thursday, Friday, 22. Saturday, 24 with the winds up to 50 kilometers an hour. Could see some light precipitation first thing Saturday morning and possibly Saturday evening. Sunday, sunny, 26 degrees. And then as your new work week starts, 27 degrees and mainly sunny. This is 20 to 35 kilometers an hour. I know many have been asking Lee about the Perseids meteor shower and if they can watch it tonight because it's at the peak. If you do want to watch the meteor shower tonight, prime time would be anywhere between 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. But you need clear conditions. And we have a lot of that cloud cover rolling through. If you can see the stars, is what I've heard, you should be able to catch a glimpse of the meteor showers tonight. All right, so maybe try to find a break in the clouds somewhere. That's right. If you can drive somewhere, and avoid the city lights. Yeah, get out into the park somewhere. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sabine. You bet. Well, Taylor Swift's record-breaking Eras Tour was the highest-grossing tour of all time, but the pop superstar didn't take much time off since it wrapped up back in December, announcing new music is on the way. Andrea Case has more.
Speculation about an announcement from Taylor Swift was running rampant on Monday after this teaser promoting a special guest on her NFL star boyfriend Travis Kelce and his brother Jason's popular podcast, New Heights. Sleuths quickly figured out this cutout matched this photo. Then, 12 minutes later, Taylor Nation, an official branch of her marketing team, posted photos of Swift wearing orange and the caption, thinking about when she said, "See you next era." Then this.
Such a nice color on you.
Yes. She broke the news herself this morning, August 12th at 12:12. She would be releasing her 12th album.
So I wanted to show you something.
Okay. What do we got?
We got
a briefcase.
Yep.
Mint green with TS on it.
Yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
I think it's awesome. I love Taylor Swift.
Why is it awesome?
Because all her music's great.
I think that's great. I mean, I've been listening to Taylor since as a kid too, since 2012. So new album, that's crazy. It's great.
While the 35-year-old 14-time Grammy winner has often referred to her ex-boyfriends in her lyrics, she's never made an album announcement this way and rarely does interviews or appears on podcasts. No official date has been given as to when it will be released, but fans can pre-order The Life of a Showgirl on Swift's website now, and vinyl editions will be shipped before October 13th.
I think she's done extremely well. I think she's conducted herself in a very professional, amazing way, really. I think that she deserves all of the success she has.
Andrea Case, CTV News.
Still ahead, coming off a bye week, the Riders look to keep their offensive firepower clicking against the Cats.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
I'm going to have to go back there. It will be a battle of the top two CFL offenses on Saturday as the Riders host the Hamilton Tiger Cats at Mosaic Stadium. And while Bo Levi Mitchell and Kenny Lawler have been the best QB receiver combo so far this year, Trevor Harris has been sharing the wealth and it's been quite successful. Jacob Carr has more.
Riders offensive coordinator Mark Mueller's unit is near the top of the CFL per game statistics in nearly every measurable category. But Grey Cup champions aren't crowned mid-season. Therefore, Mueller isn't ready to assign a letter grade to his side of the ball because the job is far from finished.
I think, unfortunately, like anything, it'd be incomplete because it's just the middle of the season and we're trying to get better. But the guys are playing hard and we're getting better. I think that's the best part is every practice, every game, the guys are growing and we can put more on these guys. They're smart, they work hard, and with that, it's admirable.
Riders quarterback Trevor Harris has been the model of efficiency this year. Literally, he leads the CFL with a 119.7 efficiency rating and has completed over 75% of his passes. But Harris will be the first to say that there are plenty of areas where the offense can improve as the season progresses.
Yeah, I want us to be the most efficient team in the CFL in the red zone, and I want us to be the best team on second long, and I want us to be the most efficient team on first down. And so there's tons
tons of things. There's always going to be, spots that we can talk about with routes or depths or timing.
The receiving corps have taken turns having big games this year, a luxury that makes it tougher on an opposing defense to key in on one guy. In their last contest, it was Dante Myers with a breakout game, but even first-time starter Tommy Neal recorded his first touchdown as a rider.
We know who we can be, and we know who the next man up is. Can be explosive, can be reliable, and can be trusted, And so that's something that we're striving for. And then it's just a blessing to have somebody like Tommy to come in, get his touchdown, and in a red zone.
It will be a battle of the top two scoring offenses in the CFL on Saturday when the Hamilton Tiger Cats roll into town. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Regina Red Sox and Saskatoon Berries are going the distance in a WCBL East Division final. Barry scored 3 in the 7th inning, 2 runs off of a double by Jalen Freeman, his only hit in the game, as the Berries doubled up the Sox 8-4. The deciding third game shifts back to Saskatoon 7:05 first pitch, and whoever wins will face Sylvan Lake in the final. The Gulls beat the 3-time champs from Okotoks in the West final. 4 Saskatchewan officials will be representing Canada on the biggest stage of the hockey world. Referees Cheyenne Murray and Michelle McKenna, along with linesperson Alex Clark, will be working the Women's Olympic Tournament at Milano Cortina 2026. Meanwhile, Yorkton's Tarrington Wyanzik will be working the lines on the men's tournament. Women's group play in Italy begins February 8th, while the men on the 11th. The gold medal games are scheduled for the 19th and 22nd, respectively. Coming up, a new president is set to take over the reins at the University of Saskatchewan.
Welcome back. We're going to take a look at your rural forecast. Some areas could see that active weather come through, including a possibility of a risk of thunderstorms. But temperatures will get back into that average range, if not warmer than average. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up. So yeah, Melfort, Spiritwood, Lloydminster, many of these areas are seeing that risk of thunderstorm, but also outlook getting up to 29, mainly sunny, 28 with a risk of thunderstorm for Kindersley tomorrow, 27 and a risk of thunderstorm and rain for Watrous tomorrow at 27 degrees. Hudson Bay, cloudy, 22. Wynyard, a mix of sun and cloud, 24 degrees. Closer to the southern border, temperatures even warmer. 32 and sunny for Coronach, 31 for Rockglen and Leader, 33 expected for Maple Creek, 29 for East End Cypress. Rosetown could see a risk of thunderstorm, 28 degrees there, and then 29 for Lumsden, Pilot Butte, 24 over in Kenora with a mix of sun and cloud. The closer we get to Capel, though, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, located about 60 kilometers east of Regina. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud. 25 degrees is the expected daytime high, but we could also see those winds gusting closer up to about 50, 55 kilometers an hour tomorrow.
As University of Saskatchewan's current president, Dr. Peter Stoichev, prepares to step down after a decade of service, the U of S has officially named the man who will be replacing him in a few months. Hallie Mandrick has the story.
The University of Saskatchewan will have a new president.
I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Vince Brunobasio as the 12th president.
Dr. Vince Brunobasio will be leading the U of S for a 5-year term, beginning on January 1st of 2026, succeeding Dr. Peter Stoichev, who has served as president for a decade after being appointed in 2015.
I believe that focus I have on hearing people moving forward together and hearing what they have to say has always been what sets my work apart, is that I really get the best information from listening to the experts in the room and the perspectives that I'm hearing.
Brunobasio has been a faculty member at the Edwards School of Business since 2012, and his research focuses on the cross-sections of strategy and governance in nonprofits, for-profits, credit unions, and Indigenous organizations. It's a background the incoming president trusts will help him navigate his term and the financial constraints he says are affecting universities across the country.
Our relationship with the province of Saskatchewan is critical to all of the success we will have. So if we can connect with all the communities here, industry, government, Indigenous communities, the way we have been and continue to build on that will develop the value that we're offering the province, and that will help us to address our financial realities.
Premier Scott Moe was also in attendance for the announcement and echoed some of the new president's sentiments.
It's good for the university to have good relations with the province, wherever they might be in Canada, but it's also extremely important to the province to have a strong relationship and understanding of what is actually happening here at the university and how the province can step in and support that.
As the U of S looks towards the future, Bruno Basio is thankful for the opportunity to leave his mark on the institution.
Really felt there was a time for me to sort of look at if I could contribute in the role. So I looked at where we are in the university right now, what our challenges are, and whether I had the appropriate skill sets and my belief. And I thought I could help. It's just something that I felt pulled to do. I can't even explain it other than that. It was just very much something from the heart.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
While a lot of kids are soaking in the last few weeks of summer vacation, more than 1,000 others in Edmonton already back in class. CTV's Evan Kenny has more on year-round school and why some families actually prefer it.
Class is back in session for 1,300 Edmonton Catholic school students. How are you feeling for first day of school?
Good. A little shaky, like it's nervous, but good. New school is good. It will help you make new friends.
While most are excited to be back with friends, some aren't ready for the summer to be over.
It's so short, all the schools are reopening during September, but we are opening just August, and it's early August too.
Students at St. Alphonsus Elementary Junior High, St. Catherine Elementary Junior High, and St. Teresa of Calcutta Elementary School start 3 weeks earlier than others in Edmonton. They receive the same number of instructional hours because of extra time off in the fall and at spring break.
I think it's nice. They get slightly longer breaks during the year and they're learning more of the time.
Those longer breaks throughout the year just give everyone a chance to reset and come back focused.
Which helps parents too.
So we are working. So 2 months is long too. Yeah. For the kids to stay at home. Yeah. So for me it's better to go early.
The principal suggests anyone interested in year-round school,
give it a try. It works for so many different families in different ways, and it's good that we have this option.
The rest of the students in Edmonton Catholic and public schools return to class September 2nd after the long weekend. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
Stock markets both on the way up. TSX 146 points at Dow Jones by 483 points. How about that Canadian dollar? Well, it dropped slightly, 0.03 of a cent to 72.59 cents U.S. Commodity front, gold up $5.89. West Texas Intermediate crude down 79 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude was down 47 cents. And gas in Regina, we've had no movement. It currently sits at $1.37.9 cents per liter. All right, get your Big Bang bingo cards out. If you had 3, you are a winner. From 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Plus the Amazing Race Canada at 9 o'clock. So we'll see if our local people can stay in there. Or I guess our local woman. There's only one out of Saskatchewan. So. All right, we move on. Chapel Rowan, once again teasing that she's going to come to Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm. I've never been there, but I promise I will perform there one day.
One day, in an interview with Apple Music's Zane Lowe, the Subway singer says she can't wait to come to Regina. She also says she used the word Saskatchewan in her song because it rhymed with gone, but I don't think she realized. Yeah, we don't say Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Hey, but it works. It works for the song. All right, moving on. The 10th International Waterfall Jumps in Herzegovina went ahead over the weekend.
16 divers from around the world came out to take a dive from this 20-meter tall waterfall. Divers judged on their form, posture. The event was earned the honor as the country's top tourist event, actually. So you would do this?
Absolutely. Would you?
I don't like heights, but I bungee jumped, so I mean...
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just without a cord.
It's kind of the day you catch me on, you know? Like a Tuesday? No way. But Wednesday?